There are spirits everywhere, watching, waiting, seeking that opportune time to reveal themselves like no other. They fill our worlds with so much.
Seriously? You didn't just do that. You farted on the promo? What's wrong with you? I thought you were a professional. Go away. Go. I got it. Hey everybody, it's Brian Bowden, host of Nobo Boomy, where we explore deep inside the Goblin universe. We have an amazing show that covers the paranormal, conspiracies, music, art, entertainment, trending topics, and so much more. Please join us by subscribing to the show on Podbean at InsideTheGoblinUniverse.podbean.com, on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and everywhere you find podcasts. It's an informative, fun, and overall entertaining good time, and we'll keep the gas to ourselves. Why don't you burp next time? Somebody get me Brian Anderson.
Welcome to Paranormal Heart, a place where people can talk about their paranormal experiences. With your host, Kat Ward.
Welcome back, folks, to Paranormal Heart. I'm your host, Kat Ward. You can find new episodes on the second and last Sunday of each month on Podbean, YouTube, New Lantern Media, and any place you find fine podcasts. If you've had paranormal encounters you'd like to share, you can either be a guest on the show, or you can submit them in writing, and I'll be happy to narrate your story. Just drop me an email at paranormalheart13@gmail.com. Here in Canada, we're celebrating Father's Day today, so this episode shout-out goes to you amazing dads out there around this beautiful blue planet of ours. I really hope you have a wonderful day. I have a great episode for you tonight. Episode 62, I welcome Coyote Chris Sutton. He wears many hats as a musician, author, storyteller, presenter, show host, and has been featured on television shows and documentaries. For the past 22 years, he's been a paranormal investigator and has walked the shaman's path for over 25 years. Chris also helps people with spiritual and paranormal issues. Without further ado, I give you Coyote Chris Sutton. Hey Chris, welcome to Paranormal Heart.
Hey Kat, it's great to be here. Nice to see you, or talk to you.
See you.
Least, you know.
I know.
We'll see each other someday.
Yeah, we've known each other for a few years now, I think, on social media, but we've never actually spoken with, so this is nice.
Yes, it is, definitely.
And thanks for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Hey, you know, if I get a chance to talk about anything I love doing, and it's never a problem for me, so
Good.
I thank you for having me on.
So, where to start? I have so many things that I want to talk about. Jeepers. Well, let's start with how you started your shaman's journey.
Well, you know, when I was growing up, I wasn't raised. We weren't particularly religious or anything like that. I was raised in the Unitarian Church, and that's more about philosophy and the good works of man versus, you know, the mystery of the faith or God or things like that sort of thing. And so I didn't have any frame of reference really for anything like this, you know. So I was at a point in my life where we'd been married, Julie and I hadn't been married very long, and I was working with adolescent sex offenders. I've been in social services for over 30 years. At that point in my career, and this is 28 years ago, I think, I was working with kids like that, and of course they're not only they offended, but they've also been offended against. They're all victims as well, and so that's kind of rough. And I looking back and finding out later on, that my empathic abilities were starting to grow, and I was seeing and feeling things that weren't mine. These kids would tell their stories, and it's like, oh, you can feel it. And it's like, it was kind of creeping me out. It was very concerning. I was pretty depressed. And I knew something was missing in my life. I just didn't know what the heck it was. And so one day, Julia, people ask me, how'd you get into this? I said it's my wife's fault, because there was we lived in a small county in east central Illinois at that time. And my wife comes up to me one day and she goes, hey, there's a powwow. I said, powwow? I know vaguely what it was, dancing and things like that. Because I knew about the Native Americans historically, but I didn't know about any of their spiritual or their practices like that, or any social, which a powwow is more of a social thing, but it's a very cultural thing. But I had no clue. But my wife used to dance when she was an Explorer Scout. She's not Native American, but that's what they did. And down where we live, nobody really bothered you about it. But whether that's right or wrong. But anyway, she goes, let's go to powwow. And I said, okay, I'll go. It sounds like fun. So we took our old daughter. I think Emily was 1 then, and so we're going. They got the big arenas, and in the middle you have the drum and the people doing announcing, and and the people are dancing. It's like I guess it was like a national powwow, because all these different tribes, all this different regalia, different styles of dancing. It's just really beautiful stuff, and I'm getting into that. It's not really. It's not like life-changing at this point in time, but just hey, I'm glad to get to know stuff like this, and so we're watching that, and all of a sudden I hear some drumming off to the side. Now this is on a county fairground, and so you have livestock barns and things like that where they were judged barnyard animals for whether cows or whatnot. And so I walked into this where this drumming was coming from, and what I found out later was a warriors dance, a gourd dance. And the drumming and the rattling and the chanting was so amazing, so hypnotic, that's when it got me. And I had that flash, and I felt my body one part stayed in this world, the other part was in the spirit world. However you want to describe it, I don't know. I just knew it was someplace else. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, you get that flash of insight that the Buddhists call a satori, that sudden insight, and it's like, you think, oh, how amazing. No, hell no, I was scared. I was like, I don't understand this at all, because I'd never had a feeling like this before. Because I've got no frame of reference for such a thing. And so, and I didn't get into this because I watched like Thunder Harder Dancing with Wolves. This is, I'd never seen that stuff before when this happened to me. And so I walk out of there. I had Emily with me to the stroller. And good thing I didn't leave her in there. Julie would have been pissed then. Yeah. So I get forgetful sometimes about things, but not my daughter. But so I go to the vendors. That's all I mean. Now today I would go home and looked it up on the internet. Well, there wasn't internet back then. Mm-hmm. So you had to go find something to read. And so I went to the books and book vendors, and I just grabbed a book because it felt like the right one. It's called Black Elk Speaks by John Neidhart. It's about a Sioux medicine man, Lakota Sioux medicine man named Black Elk. And he tells a story about, and he was like there at the Battle of Old Bighorn and things like that. He was younger then. But, so yeah, and he talks about his being a medicine man. I thought, and the Sioux, the Lakota, they pray with the pipe. It's made out of what they call pipestone catlinite, and you have the wooden stem. And so I'm reading about all this stuff, and this is how they pray, as you pray with the pipe, and, the smoke delivers your prayers up to Wankantaka and Tukashila. And so, and whatever else you want to put as well, Inamaka, Mother Earth, and Unchi, Grandmother. So like, and this is how the universe works. Everybody's listening. When everything lines right and you say yes, you have to say yes to it. It's not going to come get you. You have to accept it. And so I not only did I accept it, but I said, I put out this. It would be so cool to sit down with people and smoke the pipe and learn some of these ways, somebody to teach me. So a month or so later, now we were about not too far from Chicago, about an hour and something. And so there's a magazine that came out of Chicago called the Monthly Spectator. I don't know if it still does or not, because this is, like I said, 28 years ago. So I'm thumbing through it, and there was this metaphysical shop in one of the South Burbs, and it says, the little article thing there says pipes, because it's so, I think it was a Mind Over Matter, and it's like your phone number. So I called the phone number. I said, I'm getting out of my comfort zone here, because here I gotta go to a metaphysical shop. I was like, all. So I called him up. I said, yeah, come on up. So the night of it, I get in my car and drive up there and smoked a pipe. Met my first teacher, and it's just went from there. That's how it all began. And then the adventures begin, because Spirit opens more doors for you as you go. So I mean, it's a pretty cool experience. But yeah, to answer your question, it's not less than succinctly, but that's how it works.
It's been over 27 years now, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, long time.
I think it's 28 now, because Emily's 29. So she was 1 then, so it's getting close to 28. Yeah, because I think it was about this time, 92, 93, something like that. You lose track. But yeah, I mean, that's when the adventure starts.
Powwows are really, we have the Algonquin here in the area, and there's powwows here. Well, because of COVID, they haven't had it for the past couple of years. But the first time I went, as soon as the drumming and the dancing and the singing, and it's just like, it just reaches your soul somehow. At least it did for me. From what I understand from other people, it doesn't do that with everybody. But I was just so, there's just something about it. It just amazes me. It speaks to you. This is stuff that goes past the thinking part, and goes into your heart. And it affects your heart and your feelings. And it's like being in a place where nothing else can touch you, because you're so enraptured in this that your focus is totally that. Everything else falls away. In that moment, and it doesn't last super long, because anyway. So yeah, you're in that point where what Joseph Campbell called the bliss. You're just right there. You're in that exact moment, and that's where you're at. You're nothing else. You're stuck one place in time while that's going on with you. And it's just the neatest feeling. Yeah, I can kind of relate, because like I said, the first time we went there, listening to the drumming and the singing and everything, is just, you lose, it's almost like time stops. It was just, I'd never had that happen before. It was pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to them having it again. So they just welcome everybody, and it's, there's certain dances it's only for the dancers, and then they welcome other people in. So it's pretty. They call it intertribal down here. Intertribal dance, and they'll go, everybody dance, and you all get up. Yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I haven't been one for a few years, but we don't have too many around here. Anyway, so well, if they start up again, you're in the area, we'll have to get you to go. Yeah, I would. I don't have a passport, though, so I'd have to figure that one. I've got to get one, though. So. Yeah, I don't have one either. I got to get one. Yeah, so, because sometimes I was up in Buffalo. I used to get Buffalo once, twice a year. And it's like, that's right there on the border. So, my friend Dan Class, who owns the Hinsdale House, I go out there at least once a year to do an event out there and hang out with him. And so he took me to see the falls. The first time I was up there, I'd never seen the falls. That was pretty neat. I haven't been there since I was a little kid. Yeah. So it's like we in St. Louis, I live right across the river from St. Louis now, and so they've got the arch, this big old silver thing right on the riverfront. Everybody talks about going to the arch. I've never been that thing in my life. They built it was completed in 1966, I think it was. Oh, really? And I've got nothing to do with it. I don't like heights, for one thing. Yeah, same. Now I can fly. The flying's okay.
And if I'm on something natural like a rock or something like that, I'm okay. If something man-made, it's different for me for some reason. I don't know why. But I couldn't be like those guys that were iron workers building those skyscrapers and stuff.
Back in the day, no thanks. Yeah. Just having naps up there, no.
No, I know it.
And how? So you started doing paranormal investigations? What, over 22 years ago now?
1998. And a lot of people go into that first and they find spiritual things out of it. I was the exact opposite. I had done a little bit, I wouldn't say investigations, but somebody would have trouble with an entity or something like that, and I would, tell them what to do. Usually there was an issue that the human person was goofing something up. I said, well, don't do that, do this. And then things would stop. So I had a little bit, but not to do an investigation. I had no clue. I mean, this is back before there was no TV shows about ghost hunting. This is back in the times of Hans Holzer and Ed and Lorraine Warren back in those days. They were big names. And so I had no clue. But a friend of mine's son was a DJ at a college radio station here in town. He was in that program, and he's like my nephew. I've known him since the day he was born. So he calls me up and goes, "Hey Chris," he goes, "Hey, you want to do a ghost hunt on Halloween night, all nighter?" Well, I can't say no to him. He's like blood to me. So I said, "Okay, kid, I'll figure something out. I don't know what I'm doing." And so what I did, I just did a lot of the stuff I did from shamanism. I mean, using the energies to feel out things, and like when you do healing work, that's what you do. You feel out things with your energy. So okay, I'm used to spirit guides and spirit animals. This is a spirit. It probably vibrated at a different energy than a spirit guide would be, but basically the same concept if you look at that way. And so I started by drumming. What else am I going to do? It's like, there's no millimeters, I wasn't smart enough to know anything about getting tape, that sort of thing. I'm clueless for that stuff. And so I made up I just went by what my, you let spirit tell you what to do. So we'll make a safe spot, like a circle. I made one out of white sage. And you create a circle like that, it's an area where it's protected. And I don't know why I did it. I said, well, if anybody gets scared, because I gave him a talking to before we left to start this thing, because it was all college kids. I said, listen, this is not something to be doing if you're in a lot of emotion and things like that. Because I know how college kids was, because I was one. If you were beat at that age, and so your emotions tend to run a bit wild. So we find this. So I'm just feeling my way around. We came across one of them where we found later a bit of suicide. A young lady had hung herself in there, because it used to be a college dorm. It used to be a women's college back earlier on, and then back in the '60s they changed it over to community college. And so it was actually had been a dorm room, and that was actually a room with a guy and a teacher I knew out there, because I had him in class years before. So I tell him, "Hey, Bill, you get hanging in your room." I didn't tell him. So yeah, and one kid, and this happens to this day. I'm sure you've seen it too. Somebody, one of the spirits will get somebody who's either like they're fledgling, they're starting to come into being able to be empaths. I mean, everybody's kind of empathic. That's kind of a general term. Some people I know a couple people just scream bloody murder if you use the word empath, but I think it describes you when you're starting out. That starts waking up. So invariably, some spirit's going to get playful, or just being ornery, and will punch, put their energy into theirs, and then they're a freaking royal mess. Moment they're you're having a great time, watching the ghosts, and all of a sudden they're crying, uncontrollably. I don't know what happened. I do. Yep. So one guy did it. And he goes, "Chris, I'm so sorry. I should have told you. This is my girlfriend. I broke up, whatever. Okay, come on, dude. I marched into that circle and stuck him in there, and it worked. He calmed down, and It was back at our kind of like a little base place too, so that helped as well. I think we were based in the library, and so but yeah, I mean, after that, every once in a while I'd get into it. It was never. I did probably more psychic work back then, but again, that works in the same vein. But in psychic and shaman work, healing work and things like that, teaching. But I just kind of getting more and more of it. In 2009, there was a place in Alton where I live in the same community. Our town's called differently. And the McPike Mansion's in Alton. It's been on several shows, and it was on. Last was on TV. It was on Ghost Adventures in 2018. And so I started working there for Sharon, who owns the place. Back in like 2006, she always liked somebody, a shaman. She always wanted to have a shaman around. I said, okay, well. So I got more and more experience, doing it that way. And so in 2009, Ghost Lab came out there, Brad and Barry Kling and their crew. And so I got to go on that, and for like probably less than 30 seconds, giving some, answer to some question. I forgot what it was. I hadn't seen it in years, and I found it on Discovery Plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Oh, they got those labs on there, cool, So I clicked on it. Sure enough, they had that episode in there, and so I'm like, hey, damn, I look different because that was like 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm a little grayer now than I was then. But
aren't we all?
So yeah, and so I did more and more. And then I'm not trying to say everything's around television shows, but people always want to hear the story about that stuff. Because in my case, it's usually I'm in the right place at the right time. Doesn't mean there's nothing special about me. I just, it just kind of comes out this way. So in 2013, I get a call from a producer, and she goes, I'm so-and-so, I'm with the Dead Files. I said, oh yeah, because my wife got me watching. I never would watch it.
Love that show.
I do too. And it's like, but, this is back in the day with Ghost Stars. I mean, it was cool. They were okay shows. I said, I do this stuff. I don't want to watch it on television. I want to watch a ball game or something. And so, but she got me watching that. So I had, I knew what was going on. I said, oh yeah, I watched the show. I know the show now. Oh great, we got this house. It's up in northeastern Illinois. It's like 4 hours from me. And she goes, can you come up there to your house? Because Amy's family needed a shaman to come up. I said, yeah, sure. Yep, when you want me there, not a problem.
Yep.
And so I drove up. Steve and Amy weren't there because this is Ghost Dead Files Revisited. They had back in a couple seasons where they took a half hour to look back at one of the hour shows and to see what happened to the family.
Right.
And so in this case, they did one thing, and then they brought me in to do my thing, and so that was kind of cool. I never get this one thing. Everybody thinks that stuff's exciting. It's boring as hell. It's not exciting until you see it. Okay, when you're shooting it, it's like, So it's kind of like it was in late March, and it was still kind of cold out, and the family they raked their leaves and they dumped them in the backyard. There's a slope and it goes off in these woods. The spirits are coming out of the woods up into the house, and so I had to go down there and kind of lay down the law, or bang the drums and ask the spirits, spirits and directions to come help us. And so I did that, and so they said, oh dude, okay, we want to get you walking down this hill. So at that time I was heavier than I am now, so slippery and leaves and stuff. I look like a bear on roller skates going down that hill. And they must have shot that 20 times. I finally got it right. And I did this one thing. It was like, I don't know, it's one of those things you get in your mind. I had my staff, my kind of a rough staff with me. I carry around oak. And it was like, so I took it and I slammed it in the ground. It sticks in the ground, and I started doing my thing. And, oh, dude, that's really cool. And I had to do that 6 or 7, 8 times. Neither one of those scenes were in the show.
Oh, really?
I spent an hour working on both. That's how it works. So after, that happens, and so I see the thing, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. And I thought, well, maybe I should, I need to look more into doing this kind of stuff. And so I figured, well, if I start, going to some of these conventions and stuff, meeting some people, then I can meet, because I'm not really big on joining groups. I work by myself. I work with a group. I won't join one. And so everybody's kind of had their own little cliques around here, and I would do my stuff at places. But let's go out and meet some folks. And so I did. So at Scare Fest, I went to a bunch of other places. Met some just really cool, and some of these, just really. Most of the people in the paranormal are really good people.
Yep.
There's some that act like jerks sometimes, but people will do that. I will not say who I think that is. That would be not nice of me. And but yeah, so you meet more people. I started doing more and more of that type of thing. I was traveling to Iowa and a lot, and other places doing events, and you start get to know people, and people invite you to come places. And so yeah, I'm getting around a little bit. But now let me get through the ghost stories, and I'll tell you why I do this stuff, or the ghost shows. And
Okay, here we go. Sorry. Keep going. It froze up for a second.
okay, that's okay. Okay, so Ghost Adventures came to Alton, and for a 2-part special, The Curse of the River Dame, because we're right on Mississippi, and so everybody says it's all this limestone, all this water. So everybody says that always raises the roof as far as paranormal activity goes, and I've seen it like in other river towns too. And I said, yeah, I can kind of see that. So I was asked. I got to go on. I was a guest on with them down the sub-basement of the hotel, which is a creepiest place there. I just love it down there. And so, I was down there with Aaron, and so we talked, and rocks were flying everywhere, and they were. It was legit. My buddy was watching. Nobody was throwing them.
Wow.
So yeah. But this place, that part of the hotel is known for that. And so, it's like I said, it's right place, the right time. I mean, I knew the people that ran the metaphysical shop there, and that scheduled the tours, and I'd done a lot of work there and events, and so. But yeah, a lot is about being lucky, I guess, and that's how I see it. I mean, part of it is because you make yourself available and make yourself kind of known. But the reason, again, television is not the end all on this whole stuff. It's about how you can help people.
Yes.
Whether it's the people at their houses, it's the people in a business, or their spirits themselves. And you can help them. That's really important. That's what it's all about. And a lot of times when you do good stuff like that with the right attitude, and you will be recognized. And that's fine, and that's good, because then more people know who I am. And I get invited places. I can talk about what I'm talking about right now, which is, hey, this is why you should be doing it. And tell them why, and tell them what you can help other people do. Like a team's, I know you've seen this, where a team will come in, and they're all scientific or whatever. And we found all this stuff, but and things are bad. Kids are getting scratched and stuff like that. And the team will get scared themselves, and they'll leave and don't do anything else. It drives me insane. No, you should always have somebody, if not there with you, at least on call, who is a sensitive or as somebody who can bring healing to the situation.
Yes.
Bring good energy, has solutions, not just data.
Agreed.
And somebody who can help mitigate the situation with the spirit and the people that live there. That's what's important.
I always kind of say it's sort of like going to see a doctor, and the doctor says, I'm really sorry you have cancer. Okay, thank you, see you later.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not treating me. To me, that's the same thing. You're not helping these people.
No. It's not fortune and glory,
No.
Or just stuff so you can look cool. I don't collect evidence. It's not what I do. That's what I'm here for. I mean, I'm cool with it, I like it. I like it when everybody's, a team with different people in it. For the scientific part, that's good, because you can find stuff that way. You can bring up evidence. Now, the stuff I do, the only evidence is the result. You don't know what happens in between, because you can't see it necessarily. You can see me working. You might hear a noise once in a while, but that's about it. And that's not my job. I don't care. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I just serve.
Some people believe that in order to help families or spirits or whatever, they need to bring in a priest, and others believe they should bring in a shaman. Do you think there's a right time and place for one or the other, or does it matter?
I think, to me, it depends on the people, the family. If they're Catholic, and they're going to believe that more, because that's a lot of what has to do. A lot of it has to do with that, what you believe in.
Yep.
Because you put your heart and your energy into it. That's what matters. You know, it's not about how you say the words. It's what you put. The priest is on the up and up, and is actually not just there being an idiot, like some. You know, and there's other on the other sides that act like idiots too. But yeah, I mean, if they can rally around that, then that's what's most important. Because, you know, if you're reading the priest is doing the right of exorcism, he's blessing the house, his energy's going to it, and their energy's going into it. That's what's most important. You can believe in angels. You can believe in spirit helpers. If it's angels, good. Go. That helps you. I got a tattoo of Uriel on my arm. I got everything else is very Native American and Celtic. But I mean, I got a shit. You know, people can't
I see that. That's nice.
Tattoos.
Yeah, sorry, folks. This is only audio, but Chris and I are actually looking at each other. Nice.
Yes, I'm showing the tattoos. And so, I mean, I kind of don't say I dabble in it, but this is somebody that this angel, whatever kind of spirit it is, has always been I've always been kind of attracted, because he's about light and out. That's what I do. And so, but one time I was kind of daydreaming at work, and all of a sudden I get this loud voice, mate. It says, "Uriel." Okay, right, mate. You know, I've got a Uriel tattoo and a little card, and you know. But yeah, I just feel like it's not exclusive to one side or the other. You know, it's you know, people walk to Jesus road. I'm like, I'm all down with that. That's great. You know. As long as your heart's in it, that's the thing that matters, is where your heart's at, no matter what kind of religion you're following. And so if your heart's in it, in a good way, not because you want to be in some club where you can be holier than thou and then be a complete jerk to other people when you're on, say, other 6 days a week. You know, I'm not buying that. You know, I'm saved, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got somebody else to deal with about that, not me.
Yeah. They'll deal with you later.
Yeah, but you know, people who are more free thinkers tend to, you know, like the shamanism better. Even the people who are more scientific, because you can describe energy as chi, which, you know, the Chinese, the Eastern way of describing the energy of all things, and feng shui, and I know some of that stuff, and so, you know, I can actually get into a lot of different things. But it's you know, I'm like a jack of all trades, master of none. But I can get things done. But sometimes people need certain things that they are attracted to, and if I can give them that, that's what matters. My you know, when you do the ceremonies and stuff, that's good, because it brings the energy up, it brings the spirits in. But a lot of the stuff's just tools, so you can focus.
Exactly.
And bring that energy, you know. And the way I was taught is that it's not my energy, it's not me. It is, you know, when I start these things, I get into the energy from the earth, I get the energy from the sky, and it runs through me. I become a hollow bone that spirit can work through, which means I let it tell me what to do. A lot of times I keep my stuff in the backpack, and I get someplace and I don't know what I'm going to do until I get there. And then it hits me, okay, that's what you're going to do. I never worry about it. You know, throw in some Metallica, drive there, and one of the few probably shaman that goes to listen to Ride the Lightning by Metallica on the way to the gig.
I love Metallica.
I don't listen to flute music. Not too often, anyway. I do like the drumming. You know, I have a drumming and singing CD, so I do like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm more into harder rock actually than anything else. So.
You have good taste, brother.
I do. Thank you very much. And you. I went and saw was it like 4 years ago? Wade and I went to Indianapolis, and it's all of Iron Maiden, and so I never got to see them because they never came to St. Louis a lot. And after I started having kids, I wouldn't go to concerts and stuff. And so I actually joined the Iron Maiden fan club.
Wow!
And so it means you get to get tickets first.
Yeah.
We had third row tickets for Iron Maiden in Indianapolis.
Nice.
And Alice Cooper opened up for him.
Oh,
it was great.
I'm so envious. So want to see Alice Cooper someday. It's on my bucket list.
I've seen him twice now, and it's worth the price, I tell you.
Well,
he should be on tour this year.
Kind of getting off topic here, but I found years ago, I found out that he took, what was it, in college or university, he took theatrical arts, and he applies it in his concerts, and I thought, that would be so cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can tell the guy knows what he's doing. I remember the first time I saw him, on anything. There was a radio station in St. Louis, KC95, and that's like it was, in its time, it was really, really out there as far as music. Black Sabbath and Jethro Tull, and they would play all this stuff, which is really good. And they had a show called Tube Trip. It was on the local UHF station, but they simulcast it on the FM radio. So you had on the screen, but you had it in stereo in your living room. And so they had a video of Alice Cooper, and that came off. Holy crap! They've just kicked it up a notch here.
Yeah,
the dude was doing 18 with the snake and everything.
Oh no way!
But you could tell. I know, but you could tell. I mean, the theatrics is so important. And so many acts. I mean, he is, he blazed that trail. Lady Gaga says, he inspired her for some of her things. So yeah, I mean, and watching it up close and live, it's like, oh my gosh, the guy's amazing. So yeah, and I tell you, when you're trying to deliver a message, that's a good thing to have some type of. I acted some in high school. When I got older, I got in my 40s, and I loved Jesus Christ Superstar musical. Opera, love it. Julia came home with a flyer. I said, hey, look at this. She goes, how much I like it. They were doing a community production of it, so that was in 2002. So I went and did it, and I auditioned. I got a part, and after that, I did stage work for almost 10 years. For a while, until I got more busy with my other stuff. But that is so valuable. So anybody who wants to, talk about what they do, public speaking, or you want to lead an event, something like that, you've got to have that command of being able to be up there and talk effectively. So yeah, I mean, I did plays, I did musicals, played in my first band when I was 50. I'm a bass player. So yeah, I did everything later. So, which is okay, I'm no regrets. It's been fun.
Awesome.
To go to open mic every once in a while and do a couple songs and stuff.
Yeah, like you said, not what people would think a shaman. Like you're in your vehicle going someplace to do an investigation or a cleansing or something, and you're listening to Metallica. I could just picture that.
Yeah, most people think people have a certain mindset of what they think a shaman is. Yep. And it's anybody, I mean, I know guys who are, you're the shamans you think of shamans. I know people like that. But at the end of the day, they're usually pretty good folks. It's like and I always tell people, because I still like to have a drink and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm just, when I first started doing this, learning these things, I thought I had to act a certain way. Almost becoming stoic.
Dress a certain way.
I am far from stoic. And so I was doing this stuff. I thought, wait a minute, good drinking, that I'd be a monk or something. I was married. But I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't you. And I'm not being totally me. It makes my spirit work, my medicine work lesser. If I'm not truly who I am. And so I said, I pitched it out the window after a few months. Because, you have to be you. And I mean, there are certain things I can do, that other people could do if they worked at it. But part of it too is like, I was invited to come do this, and so, but not at the expense of my soul, of myself. And so yeah, I mean, I don't mind telling that stuff. God, I smoked cigarettes for a long time after I started. I mean, I've been smoking I quit 17 years ago. But I know a lot of shamans that smoke, or people in medicine. I know some others who drink too. So, but yeah, I mean, you just got to be you. Whatever, even ghost hunting I've seen, if you're genuine, people are going to respond to that. If I walk around with a stick up my butt, people are not going to respond to that, no matter how wise I sound, because I'm not me. I can say that stuff, but if I'm not enthusiastic about it, if I'm not, making you, giving you a reason to hear what I have to say, then I've lost it. I've done the right thing. Saying, if you're anybody who's genuine and totally yourself, then good things happen. I mean,
you have a whole different way. Your energy is totally different when you're just genuine and you're yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, a lot of people in the field aren't like that. Their ego's getting away, and now, not that I haven't had brushes with my ego in the past. I sure have, and I got my butt kicked. And so, the one story I always love to tell, we were living, this is when we were still in East Central Illinois. We'd moved to a town north of there where we had been living. And so I'm out walking, meditating kind of. And I hear this voice say, "It's time to go home." Well, I don't want to go home. Back to home from Godfrey. I was happy. Had a good job. Julie was happy. She had a good job. Kids were happy. It's all good. Good schools. And so, a week or so later, out walking. Time to go home. I'm not going home. Okay, so a week again later, out doing the same thing. Hear the voice in my head. It's not like a schizophrenic voice. It's just an idea pops in your head. It wasn't yours. And so, once again, it's time to go home. Thrice asked, thrice refused. And within a month, maybe 6-7 weeks, but wasn't long after I got hurt at work, because I worked with violent kids. And so I had to, I had to restrain somebody who was just totally off the wall. So I was bringing him down, but I didn't want to hurt the person, so I came down on my shoulders, and I hurt at wrestling when I was in high school. And it just went thin. And so I ended up losing part of my collarbone. The AC joint there splintered.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really...
That was fun.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm home convalescing, and I get a call that I get laid off from work. It's probably because I filed workman's compensation, but,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? And so I'm sure they would have made something up. So I'm like, shit, what am I going to do? And Julie comes home, she throws her keys on the table, and she's had it with her work. After a day or so later, we come with each other, let's go home. Yeah.
It's time.
So I go home. So I'm still practicing Lakota medicine then. Because I've got these thoughts in my head. I'm trying to think, to be my true, genuine self is probably not something I need to do, because I'm going to start breaking rules. And I don't want to do that. Not that the rules are that tough, but it's just, there's certain ways you got to do things. And I like to be more free to interpret my own way of doing stuff. And so we move home, and a couple of months later, I'm looking in the newspaper, and down at the local college, the Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, ad says, come join Johnny Moses of the Siwas tradition of the Pacific Northwest, Native American stories and songs and things. I said, I'll be darned. And so I go down and meet Johnny, and there's a Red Cedar Circle, and the groups are called the Red Cedar Circle over there, and there's some in Washington State and other places, more in the West. We're probably the one furthest to the east. I know we are. And so our Illinois group. So I learned that way of doing things, which is much more agreeable to me. And that's been practicing I've been practicing it ever since. And Johnny comes back every once in a while, and I'm usually picking up at the airport, and he wants to go to the dollar store. We go to the dollar store. And it's simple things, you know. You would think, no, this guy says, oh, let's go to the dollar store. All right, let's go to the dollar store. So it's like, you know, but now I'm just so excited about this. You'd think I was giddy as a kid. Next month, it's Johnny's birthday. And so they're going to have a medicine gathering just south of Port Townsend, Washington. And they said, hey, you know, we would really love some of you guys from Illinois to come. So me and another guy are going out there for that. I've never been out there. This is where my tradition's from. I've never been there because at first I couldn't afford it, and then I didn't have. But this is like this time was supposed to happen. It's like, okay. So yeah, my friend Jay and I are going out there, and we're gonna go to ceremony. And it's it'll be great. I'm just really looking forward to it. So yeah, you know, and that's what I mean. These things happen.
Yeah.
I smoked Sitting Bull's pipe one time.
Oh wow.
The actual pipe that Sitting Bull carried.
Really?
Yes. I knew the carrier. Yeah, and did ceremony with him and smoked it.
Now, did it have a certain vibe to it compared to other pipes?
Goodness. Oh. I mean, think of the people who touched that pipe.
Yeah.
Sitting, Crazy Horse, Gall. I mean, all these, and then you know, Keeper. Frank Fool's Crow had it. He's the one who gave it to my friend Jim. You know, and these people like that, the Crow Dogs and those guys, and it's like, it was amazing. Cat, I mean, just to pick that thing up, not just mention smoking out of it. I'll never forget it. I mean, it's one of those once in a lifetime things.
What was the experience like compared to other pipes?
It's like picking up as a holy relic. For one thing, I mean, you know, it's the holiest of holies almost. The vibrations, the energy. I mean, it's a powerful thing. It gives out powerful prayers. It's hard to describe, but it's one of those where you know that you stop thinking. You just stop thinking. And you just let it go. You let it happen. And, you know, there's certain, ways of, that you take a puff and blow smoke through 4 directions, and you put 3 puffs in the air. Or some people do 1 down, 2 up. And then you pass it on. But it was I just felt like there was a halo of light around me when I had it in my smoke. I had it in my hands. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, some people might, the pilgrimages that the Muslims go on, when you get to the holy place, it's Barak. It must be the same thing. Wailing Wall for the Jewish folks.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing experience.
Wow.
And it's not just boy from the Midwest. It's just because I said yes, and in 1993. I called somebody to take a chance. That's how it happens.
Have you ever looked back and just go, wow, like this is the journey that I've been on, and it's pretty wild. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, some of it's pretty boring too. I mean, you always talk about the highlights. But yeah, no, I mean, it's it's not all crazy and everything like that. A lot of it's just work or helping other people. It's real mundane. I work a day job, and so I can't spend all the time I want to doing what I do, but I get enough in.
That's not an easy job what you do either.
I guess not. I don't. It's to me, it's not hard. That's what I love to do. And so when you love what you do, it's not really hard. It can be not stressful. I mean, I'm pretty confident in the medicine. One of my teachers, he's a Mohegan Indian, he said that he gave me this little saying one time. It says, spirit puts me where I need to be, which requires a lot of trust in spirit, but even greater trust in me. So you got to trust yourself. And I had a worse time with this for years, in believing why I have it. What did I have these skills? And it's not like, I'm a freaking a Jedi or something like that, but that I can do certain things. Why me? Why would you want this white kid to do the white man? I'm not kidding anymore. But after a while, you just gotta say, hell with it, and say yes, okay. And my
Stop
tattoos,
second guessing
I call them
yourself.
my scarification ritual. They're my spirit animals. They give voice to my Celtic roots. So I'm part Scandinavian, part Irish, and part English. So those are Viking genes, I guess. So not that
I'm
ready
part
for a blonde
Scottish,
story.
so I have it too.
But I was, I was born here, so it's like, I'm hoping to get over to England in a couple of years and check some of that stuff out. That'd be cool.
Oh,
But yeah,
I'd love to go across the pond someday.
This with my tattoos is that, I say yes, and you can't take it away from me. I just to the point where I don't even worry about it, really. I just do. That's all you can do after a while. It's like, okay, let's just do it. You can write, the fates guide those who will, those who won't, they drag. I'm tired of getting dragged around. So, okay, let's just roll. Okay, I got you. And so that's what works best.
Let's talk a little bit about the spirit animals. How does a person find what their spirit animal or animals are?
The first thing you do is you keep an eye around you when you're outside in nature. They're not coming in the house.
No.
Now, spirit guides you. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute, but if you want. But start looking. Just be aware. Don't look for particular animals. Everybody wants an eagle. Okay, not everybody can have an eagle. And sometimes maybe the eagle comes later, but you got to start someplace. So make yourself available to be outside. Go for walks, go to parks. I have a forest preserve I go to. I live, like I said, on the river. I go out and it overlooks the river. I can't walk by the river because there's big rocks down there, and I'll fall and cut myself, or get hit by a car. And so I don't want either one of those.
No.
So be outside a lot and be aware. And you start seeing a certain animal, bird or a rabbit or a squirrel, they just seems like you see them more than you should. You would normally see them. That's where you start. And so I could say, you could call somebody like me up, or you can just go Google it. That's amazing stuff. And it's going to give you about the same answer anybody else is going to give you. Squirrel totem or squirrel medicine. And give it a look. In general, it'll give you an idea of what this animal's trying to tell you. You also look at the point of what's going on in your life. Is it a good time, a bad time? Is there a problem you need to work out? And what kind of messages does the animal have for you? Even to the point where you can look that up, because you can also meditate on that animal and see what comes up. Think about the animal. Sit outside. If you see it, ask for it to, tell you what needs to happen. And if it's a rabbit, rabbit medicine will tell you what's going on. And they come in handy sometimes. I was doing a class. My first spirit animal was a hawk. So that's my seeing animal. I did more psychic work at first. And so hawks see. And so I was teaching a class over in St. Louis, and somebody brought their cousin. Somebody who was into it brought their cousin, who was being kind of, I wouldn't say a jerk, but he was like, could tell he wasn't into it. He'd make little comments and things like that. Okay, cool. He wasn't close to getting kicked out or anything like that. So I took him out in the back. They had a little backyard back there, and I did this thing where I have people work with trees, because trees are the best things in the world to exchange energy with. To get that feeling of how energy flows. And so you get that with a tree. And so he and I are talking, and I just knew what was going on above me, so I didn't look up. And the guy goes, "How do you know stuff works?" I said, "Well, why don't you ask those hawks?" Which is my spirit animal above me. He looks up, there's two hawks circling us. And so they heard what was going on, I guess, and came to support me. And so I kind of goes, oh. And he was the best student after that. He was great. He was all into it. But some people need that sign. I needed a sign. I look back through my life, and I went back after all this happened. I said, why did this happen at that age? Well, I looked back, and there was clues. When I was in 3rd grade, our teacher read us The Hobbit. And they got to that part where Gandalf visits Bilbo for the first time. And, the narrator of the book, introduces him. Oh, that would be Gandalf. And talks about Gandalf a little bit. And I had this thrill go up my spine. I was 9 years old. That was odd. But ever since then, I was always into wizards. And, those were my... People ask, who's your heroes? And I said, wizards. And then, and then the Jedi. It was like I was always into the wizards and things like that. Just, Merlin and all that stuff.
Yep.
And so when I was 20, okay, I'm aging myself really well here. When I was 20, Star Wars comes out. So,
yeah, I remember going to see Star Wars when it first came out too. So.
Yeah. Anyway, so you get to this part. I mean, and the reason I tell stories like this is how everybody can get these messages, and it's these experiences. And usually it happens in our body somehow, and so just to pay attention to this kind of stuff. So to get to the point where Obi-Wan has rescued Luke from the Sand People, and they're back at Obi-Wan's hut, and they've talked for a while, and they see the message from Princess Leia. And, Sir Alec Guinness, played Obi-Wan. He goes, now I'll try to do the imitation. It's not very good, but you get the point. He goes, you must learn the ways of the Force if you're coming with me to Alderaan. And I get that same tingle.
That was pretty good.
Oh, thank you. I've been doing interviews for years now. But I got better. You'll have to get that part down first. He gets that little what in his voice. Probably comes from acting, I guess. I was in a play. I was played Jonathan Harker in Dracula one time, and I had a decent British accent in the first act, but just my daughter was telling me, by the 3rd act, it's gone. That's so anyway, you get that same feeling again. Now, to me, those were invitations, but I didn't know what they were. I had no reason to know. I had nobody to talk to about it. Because sounds crazy. So yeah, I mean, this is when you, even before you've decided, that something's got to change, it leaves you clues. When I was 5, this is one of these things that came out like all these memories start coming up after you've done it for a while. It's like, oh man, that's what that meant. And so when I was 5 years old, my grandmother, my dad's mom, was in a nursing home. And now my job today is I'm an advocate for people that live in nursing homes. I'm an ombudsman. And so I can relate to this when I was 5. And so, I mean, the place smelled abominably. I mean, even today you can get rid of that stuff. It was bad, of urine and everything else. And so I could stay in there for a while, but I was 5 years old and I'd start acting out. Nobody could do anything about it because it was bad. So they said, I'd go outside and play. So I would go outside, and those days it was no big deal. If you're 5 years old, now you wouldn't do it. But,
no.
No, I know, that's sad. So anyway, I was outside, and this older lady, she had a shawl. And she comes walking up to me, and it's not surprising. It's a nursing home, so I can't. I'm scared of that. But I was kind of like, it was like, why would I remember this? But I did. I remember it really crystal clear. And she comes over to me, and she doesn't really say anything. Kind of, sing-songy kind of a voice, and pats me on the head, and, And so she gives me this little plastic baby doll. Now, you remember that old plastic, it'd break?
Yeah.
And it the brittle stuff, and so a piece was broken out of the chest. It was only about 4 inches tall. And so I'm like, why would somebody give me a broken toy? But still, I was kind of mesmerized by it, that she would give me such a thing. And so I looked down, and I looked up to say thank you, and she's like 50 yards away from me. I looked at, and something else caught my attention. I looked away, and she was gone. Well, that's weird. But, I'm 5 years old. It's like, okay. And why this interaction just like boom, boom like that? So years later, after I'd gone through my epiphany and some training and whatnot, we had an old family album out from my dad's side. And I see this picture. And it's like, holy crap, it's her. She's got these crazy eyes, you know. It's like old granny woman eyes, you know, medicine, old in the hills kind of look. I mean, those eyes look right through you. And it was the same one, same lady that saw me. She'd been long dead when that happened. I said,
Wow.
oh.
Yeah.
And so now, I bet, you know, every once in a while she'll come around. And I remember I feel around sometimes, especially if I'm doing certain types of medicine work, she'll come in. That's why I think she's probably new mountain medicine. But I remember when Emily, my daughter, I was giving her a bath, and it was getting that time. You know, there's a certain time after a certain time, Daddy can't give daughters baths anymore. You know, it's not appropriate. So, or she's getting pretty close to be able to do it herself anyway. So I was giving her a bath. That's probably about the last one I gave her, I think. And I feel my great grandmother come in the room. She has a certain feeling. I say, hello, you know, come on in. It's cool. And, you know, she's looking at Emily, and you know, and I can, you know, I can't see her through my eyes. I can feel her. I can see her, you know, through that looking. And she kind of, you know, I could kind of feel her touching my arms. I said, okay, you know, you can come in. I could tell us what to do, because I was getting ready to wash Emily's hair, and she wanted to wash Emily's hair. And so I could feel the energy through my fingers when I was washing Emily's hair.
That's amazing.
It was like, I was like, you know, it was so cool, but it's kind of a weird feeling too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
She loves that story. She comes in when I tell that story.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, does your daughter see things like that as well?
Yeah, she does. They both have some of my skills. My daughter is very perceptive. She's pretty psychic. Does okay on ghost hunts. We actually had a Sutton family ghost hunt at the Mineral Springs
really?
with my wife and I, and my 2 kids and my son-in-law, and we had a great time. You know, Julia's sort of gotten into it. You know, she could always see auras, but she's got. I mean, I trust her enough now. I'll go to do a house walk with her. Take her with me, do a house walk, see if somebody has ghost problems. My son, now he's like 6'1", wide as a refrigerator, and he loves going in the dark and dirty stuff. You know, the warrior kind of stuff. Out looking for something that's causing a ruckus. That's what he likes, and so he's got that energy for that. He was a football player and all that stuff, and so he likes that sort of physical stuff. And so yeah, they've all got, you know, some type of gift.
It's very helpful too, having a parent who understands and recognizes it and actually helps the kids when they start developing their gifts, because there's so many people out there that, you know, the parents will shut them down, or they try to make them feel that they're crazy, or, you know, and that really saddens me.
Yeah, I've dealt with parents like that before.
Yeah.
You know, usually the mom's kind of okay with it, but usually it's dad you got to deal with. And like, especially if you got a place where there's a hunt going on, and you got a daughter or kid there, and you start talking to the kid, and it's like, oh, she's gonna, you know, she's got these medium qualities, and so the ghosts, the reason they're bothering is because they want to talk to her. They know she can. They know that they don't know that she can't quite do it yet, but they can see the gift, and so they'll be messing with them. And so I teach them how to create boundaries, and I said, listen, guys, you gotta let her do this, or you're gonna have a problem later on. And usually they acquiesce. If I'm telling a father and I'm talking like I do, you know, hey man, this is, you know, oh, she's all this. No, it's not like that. It's like, hey, dude, this is the way it is. You know, I'm lying to you. I've been seeing this stuff for almost 30 years. This is what's going on. You know, I say this away from the kid. Like, you know, she's got these skills. She didn't ask for them. She's born with them, and it's, you know, you need to kind of let her, you know, get to learn, at least learn how to protect herself, if anything. And usually they're pretty good about after that.
I hate it when parents would say, you know, try to tell the children that it's demonic. You know, just ignore it. Oh, no.
I've had several people in classes that went through all that. Lots of Catholic kids, you know. But I'm not disparaging Catholics. I know some very cool Catholics. I've had nuns come to my classes before.
Really? What's that like?
Yeah, there was one. I love the kind of nuns that are like, hey, I'm gonna go learn something whether you like it or not. And I want to check this out. And it's not that they're being converted or anything like that. They're just curious.
Yeah.
And so, I'm like, what's this like? It's like the Holy Spirit. Yeah, okay. And, that's why I tell people who follow the Jesus road, people Christians, I say, think of it as the Holy Spirit that's working through you to do this stuff. It's not a sin. You can pick out parts in the Bible. John says, Jesus said to the disciples, you can do as I do and more. So, so I have to admit, I've gone out there and kind of taken cherry picked some quotes out of the Bible to prove points sometimes. So
a little bit of firepower.
Yeah. Well, it's just a way of engaging people. It's like, but no, you don't have to give up. There's some wonderful Christian mystics, for goodness sakes. Especially in the Catholic. I mean, you wouldn't think so, but yeah. There's an author named, I've been really good to remember names all night. I'll come up with it. But you have Teresa of Avila, St. John of the Cross. These are all mystics. You have these different gospels. Gospel according to Thomas, and which is, to me is legit stuff, because it's, just because they didn't put it in the Bible doesn't mean it's not legit. But yeah, Thomas Merton was a monk down in Gethsemane is in Kentucky. Is Gethsemane monastery, and he wrote some amazing things. And actually, they let him go to conferences and stuff. But he'd be like into these Buddhist guys. He would think Nag Hammadi were friends, because they were the mystic part of it. This connection, this communion with the holy energy, and that's what it's about to them. He goes, the monks and the practitioners always got along fine. The theologians would argue, and so, which is probably true. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of neat stuff in there. Dead Sea Scrolls. I mean, there's all sorts of cool things that you don't hear about. I see so much stuff now that's like, I don't think Jesus would be too down with that.
Yeah.
It's like hate liberals 6 days a week, love one on the seventh. Because his stuff's pretty liberal if you stop and look at it. Love your neighbors yourself. Or treat those as you would treat others the way you want to be treated. That's all very biblical stuff, basic stuff. If you can't get that right, there's a problem. So, but that's my 2 cents in that. I think it depends. It's like if I were to be disparaging about people because they didn't believe the way I did. That's stupid. It's a waste of time. I'll engage in conversation. I'm not an evangelist by any sense of the word. Usually, I won't talk to people about it unless they ask me. Or if it's something comes up where it looks like they would be open to it, I'll say, I do this and this. Oh, okay, we'll do the conversation. But other than that, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're free to do what you want. It's just what you do is what you pick is what's most important. If you're going to walk the Jesus road, you walk like Jesus, perfect, that's good. I was at a conference one time. This is actually for my day job work. And there's a group called SAGE, and there's a few chapters in the United States, I think. But what it's about, it's a support group, or a group for aging LBG, gay. I never wrote the letters right.
Yeah,
but,
me neither.
I know, and I should, I really should, because I do care a lot about that. But yeah, the people who are that, that different, sexually, and from the mainstream. It was at this church in a town not too far from here where we had the conference, and so we had it, and it was really good. I was really enjoyed it, sort of social work kind of people and stuff. And so I was talking to the minister afterwards, and I said, you know what really impresses me? He goes, what's that? I said, to see a church that actually follows the teachings of Jesus. And he looked at me and he goes, thank you. And that was probably the best compliment I could have given. Because, I mean, you look at, most people say Christians would, you're not supposed to be for that stuff. No. They're human beings. They need to be treated with kindness and respect, whether you agree with them or not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed. I just want to touch a little bit on the investigating part. Can you, or not necessarily investigating, so someone calls you and says that they're having issues with spirits or whatever. Walk us through how you walk into someone's home or business or whatever, and what do you do?
The first thing I do is I just kind of know what the root problem is, and I don't want to know much more. Normally, especially in a big place. I mean, you know, if you get somebody with their house and a family, they're going to tell you stuff, and it's like, okay, that's fine. But I like to start outside because one, it gives you an idea. You can kind of scan into the house, but also you feel what the energy of the land is on, the house is on, or the building's on. I've been to many places that should never have been haunted. Case in point for our schoolhouse in Iowa. Lots of good haunt stuff there, but there wasn't nothing bad happened there, you know. But you go outside, and the energy of that land is so magnificent. It's so strong, you can almost eat it. And it's just beautiful. And this is why, because spirits are attracted to energy. So, you know, Hinsdale House is like that. That land is just off the hook insane. I never go in the house hardly. I'm usually outside talking to spirits out there. So anyway, I'm going to go outside first. Check all that stuff out. The land. And sometimes I can see into the house, feel something roaming in the house. YWCA here in town's haunted. I pulled up outside, got out, started doing my thing. I could see or feel this young girl up in this one part of the place. It was like, you know, just going back and forth, you know, those residuals probably. And I'm like, do we gotta go up there? So we go up there, and then a couple of bells went off, millimeters. So there's, you know, and you could feel it. And she looking, I guess she was a babysitter there or something. Because it's been there for God knows how. It's been there probably since early 1900s, the building. And so she was looking for the kids. That's what she does. She looks for the kids. And so yeah, that's one way of pinpointing target areas that you might want to go investigate. And so I do that, and so then I go. You know, also you can kind of, you know, something feels like it's off or not right, or you feel kind of a negative energy. You can know that before you walk in the door. Okay, because, you know, so what am I doing? I've got energy. Okay, so I project it out, like with my consciousness, and I just go into those places. It feels it's like laying down sonar or something, or radar. Something crosses that field, I can feel it. And then I know something's there. Then I can. This is how psychic stuff works. You're connected to something else's energy. You can kind of feel it and what it's saying or what it's doing. So that gives you an idea of what's happening. Then you go in their house. Then I just kind of go where I think I want to go. Some people would say start at a certain spot. I usually go to a place that feels interesting to me. Start there. Now, if I'm doing a cleansing, it's totally different. But, you know, just when I'm investigating, I go to those spots I've felt outside. Now, if I'm going in and I'm walking through the place and something else catches my attention, I'm going to go there. But basically, I call it bird dogging. Other people have other words for it, but I'm finding out where stuff is.
Yeah.
And then I've got people there with me who've got the gadgets and stuff, and dude, you might want to try over there and over here. And at time with the little young girl looking for the kids, you up there melting the K2s go off, right where she's walking. So yeah, that's basically what I do is going in. And then now you have certain responsibilities once you're in the house with other people. That's to keep a watch on things. You know, that sometimes that you get a negative entity that doesn't like our presence. So if they find something like that, then your job is to try to keep everybody safe. And so it's like usually it's like, okay, you know, we're just here to do this and this, and we're not here to any disrespect. Now, if I'm doing a lot of stuff outside, I'll do this initially. I'll do a drum circle outside and talk to the spirits. I even do it in the house. I've done it in the house. Usually I'll go in the basement to do it. It kind of depends who I'm with before I do that. If I just if I think I should do it, I'll do it. I don't care. And people don't mind, because most people kind of tend to like it. So we'll do that to talk to them, let them know right off the bat, this is what our intentions are. You know, sing a couple songs, we introduce ourselves, we say, you know, thank you for letting us come in, you know, just be real polite. And And most times they respond very well then. Even they'll get active on EVPs. And my favorite, the necrophonic. I just love that thing.
I don't think I'm familiar with that.
Oh, it's a phone app. Okay. People say, "Oh, that's a phone app." I've gotten some good stuff on those.
Really?
I've got names. Who am I with? Brent. Sure enough, I was with him was Brent.
Wow.
So yeah.
Now I always stay away from phone apps.
I know, and it was like $10. I said, "I'll give this a try," because I'm not buying a Geoport. Those things are too expensive. That's not good. Because I've worked with Dan Class is real good with a Geoport, and he and I have worked together a lot. You get this, there's no words programmed into it. Mm-hmm. It's it's
like the Oculus.
It's like an Oculus, but it's just like it gives them a venue to a medium to voice. I don't know how that works. I'm terrible at that tech stuff, but yeah.
So am I.
I need to know tech stuff.
I use it, but I can't explain how I use it.
Yeah, that just works, Yeah. And okay, so once we were using, I do a spiritual group once a month. Coyote Chris's Crazy Chaotic Spiritual Circle, and so and so anyway, because we just talk about anything, and we never have a plan, we just do. And so one night we were meeting, they wanted to me to get that out, and I've got a Bluetooth speaker that goes with it. So we're past, people are asking questions, and this is not too long after Ghost Adventures was in there, and so one of them, that wasn't me. One of the members of the group says, "What did you like? Did you like Zach?" Right away, no. Like that, okay? Another one goes, "What did you like, Aaron?" A little bit of pause, no. Then I heard one of them goes, "Dude." I'm like, "Dude? Who's saying dude?" "Dude." I said, "Are you imitating Aaron?" Dude, just like that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So I was sold after that. You can say what you want about it,
Yeah.
But if I can sit there and say, well, I feel this, and I've got this message or whatever, like the mediums do. I just find this more fun. And kind of probably it's more, people can get more out of it. Mm-hmm. That way, because even the spirits seem like a little better. Because I was in Boiler for our school one time. I have so much better luck. I'm just talking conversationally, not when did you die, who all is here. Say, hey, what did you guys like to eat when you were still around? Mm-hmm. Just getting that conversation. So one time we were down. That night we were down there, and one of the people down there was talking about Tom Petty. So you guys know Tom Petty? He's dead. And stuff. You get a couple like, and so kind of like a recognition, but nothing, very good about it. So next group comes in. One of the first things that comes out of that thing is, "Tom's dead."
They were probably like, "What?"
Yeah, they were like, I give the girls a lot of credit when it comes to that stuff, because sometimes they're kind of funny, and sometimes they like to do stuff like that, because you get let's have some fun together, and that's what I said, "Hey, you guys are really funny tonight." "Thank you." I'm just, I really got to start recording this stuff. I still listen to tape, but some of it's I get some funny stuff and then some good stuff. So
that's awesome.
I can't, I have to say, hey, it works for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that out next time. In our next.
This is only, I don't know what it is in Canadian currency, but it's like $10 in the States.
So it's probably like $60 Canadian. No.
Yeah, I know. I've heard about the exchange rate.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, Lordy. Yeah. Yeah, I find if you go into an investigation lighthearted, it's a much better investigation. And I have actually told the team that I'm with that if I'm not in the right frame of mind, I'm not going to go on an investigation, because I'm just going to attract negative things, and I don't want to bring that home to my family.
Oh, they love that stuff. Those ghosts, they will swoop down that. That's why you get these, people that call the house calls and stuff, and you get there, it's like, because the only demon in this house is drugs, alcohol, violence, mental illness. Mm-hmm. However, there are spirits who are attracted to that.
Yep.
because they like that kind of, they like to feed off that kind of energy. So they're there. Yeah, you got ghosts. Okay, but they're just here for the buffet.
Yeah, it's like a moth to a flame.
X, Y, and Z. It's like they don't want to hear that because they want it to be a ghost. And you can always find somebody that's going to tell you it's a ghost if you go through enough teams.
Yeah,
that's what really causes a problem. But they want to externalize everything. So if it won't be about them, it's got to be about something else. You got holes in your wall from people punching it.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you what the real deal is. If you can get rid of these things, if you make some changes, or if you start making some changes, I'll come back. But not until you do. One guy's a hoarder. Yeah, there's something in there. I couldn't get to it. I said, man, I will come back. I'll be happy to come back. You got to get rid of this stuff. I can't get to where it wasn't a very serious ghost. It was a suicide house for one thing.
Oh.
And and that attracts. But it was, it was just an annoying kind of spirit. I think it was had plenty to eat. So this guy was mentally ill too. So he had put oil, like motor oil that you had at the can. I guess a bottle now. And he had white siding on his house, and there's a ring of oil around it. He goes, "What'd you do that for?" Oh, this guy's had everybody in town that's even halfway into this stuff to check it out. And so he goes, "Yeah, this witch told me that I should do that." I'm like, "Oh, God."
And he used motor oil?
Yes. Knowing some witches, that's probably true. I mean, God, I love most of them, but some of them do some crazy stuff. There's some shamans that do some crazy stuff too.
Can you walk us through what you do exactly when you go do a cleansing?
Sure. So by then I've already established where the problems are generally. So what we do is, but we're going to do the whole house. So basically what you're doing is I start at the basement and go work my way up to, and usually I go waterways or counterclockwise. Yeah, around the room. And then I'll start in the basement. Smudge, candlelight, maybe some sweet grass to call good spirits in. And then when you get to the doorway, you spread some salt down. Yeah, I prefer sea salt. I've got black salt. I guess if I really had something that was really crazy, I'd use black salt. That stuff stains your fingers. And so if I don't have to use it, I don't. Plus, it's kind of expensive. So,
I like sea salt too.
Yeah, I mean, sea salt to me rocks. And so I didn't use that. So you seal the room by doing that. You've gone through all these things. You've cleansed it. The candle's a live spirit. It brings wholesomeness and good energy. If you use the sweet grass, it's going to call protectors. So, and you do that, and you move around the bottom. And basically you're counterclockwise and all the way around. So then you got to go up the stairs. So you're leaving behind you a sealed area. So something was there; it's been driven. And so you just keep going up and up, and you always at the very top, the last room you're at, you leave a window open so it can get out. I've heard stories, never seen it happen, where actually windows get broken when you run them out.
Oh, wow.
One guy tells a story I read in the book, the whole window frame went out. And so, yeah. So that's why you do that. But yeah, and then then I go outside, and if you need to, and like I will put. Well, actually, I teach. I always have the people. At least one or two of the people live there with me because I'm teaching them how to do it. This is what you need to do if this happens again. I don't charge people. I charge maybe a couple bucks for gas when I do that spiritual work. I don't charge for that. I don't charge for healing work. If I do, if I'm doing a psychic fair or psychic, I charge for that. But by and large, I don't charge for much. Obviously, paranormal events and stuff like that. It's one thing, but
that's it's different. A little different.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I teach them how to do it. So then we go outside. And this one way you can do it. I don't have the market ordered on or anything, so you can you put a crystal. I use a quartz crystal. Stick it in the ground at equal distance from the house, around the house, in each cardinal direction. I just start with the east, and then I go to the north, the west, the south, and back to the east with these crystals. And so then you walk around, and I might use a selenite wand, or I might use my staff, or I just might use my hand, and you drive energy, starting, walking around again, you drive the energy and activate the circle around there. And then you've got the crystals to keep the circle alive after you've left. Now you can't leave it at that because you got above and below, and so you got to bring the energy up over the house and then under the house. And you teach the people living there and say, okay, this is what you close your eyes, and your mind's eye, you see all this stuff happen. If you want to do what I did and walk around like that, that's fine. If you want to add more crystals, that's fine. You can do that. Yeah, and we create a barrier around the house. So that gives it wards. I got that around my house. So I keep one to guest out. And people say, you worry about stuff come home with you. They don't want to come home with me. I'm not kind for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't mind, sometimes I've thrown down with things, with entities. That's kind of part of my job. And so it doesn't scare me. But I mean, I may get my butt kicked someday. But so far...
But not today.
Not today. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, and I don't say, I don't put that in my descriptions, that's what I do. But, somebody's got to do it. And so it's me. And so I've got a good relationship with the thunder beings, with the thunderbird, and so it gives me a lot of extra energy for that sort of thing. And to be honest, my energy is more destructive than it is creative.
How so?
And not, it's like a thunderstorm. It rains and thunders, all this stuff. It flushes out all this crap. It makes the land fresh again. And that's pretty much like if I'm doing healing work. This is what I really like to do. And I can do both sides, don't get me wrong. But I really like to do the initial pass through, and it's like using that thunder medicine to break up all this negative stuff. It's like, okay, let's say you get a new driveway. You got cracks in the driveway, it's all crappy. So what do you do first? You take out the old concrete, right? So you've got, you laid bare, it's open, that's all, it's cool. And then they bring the concrete, nice and smooth, white and new. And so it's like, a friend of mine, especially a friend of mine named Donna, works at the Ratings Inn here in town. That's where the Mineral Springs Hotel is. It's not a hotel anymore, it's got shops in it. And so, that's my job. Boom, blow that crap out of there. And then Donna or some other Reiki person or whoever, brings in that nice, very light and, good, strong energy of the light. And I can do both because I've done both. I kind of like doing it that way, But that same thing translates into protecting other people, in situations. And so it's like, yeah, no, you're not doing that. Especially when it comes to kids. I got no tolerance for that stuff.
You don't have what, sorry? Oh, yeah.
I don't cross them because I don't believe in that stuff. But people say cross them, I think they just duck behind a tree and they come back. It's probably... Maybe some people can. But anyway, so it's like, no, you gotta go. You have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Exactly, yeah. I've heard that once or twice.
Yeah. Shoot, I've seen Don more times than Tony Orlando. That's a very old reference for you guys out there.
Our generation get it.
Yeah. That was a group called Tony Orlando and Don back in the day.
That's funny. I love your energy, your attitude. This is.
I love having fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't, that's just kind of how my way works for me. It's why be stoic, because people, who doesn't like to laugh? And I tell dumb jokes and stuff like that, sometimes. And people are like, but they get into it, anyway. So, but yeah, it's just let's have fun with this stuff.
I had an episode once where I had a good friend and a fellow podcaster named John Mallard. He has the not related to Jim Mallard.
Right, no, I know.
Okay,
actually,
John?
John and I are friends on Twitter.
Oh, nice. Yeah, from Odd to Newfoundland. And I had him on once, and John loves to laugh too. And him and I had a great time. And I had a lot of, not a lot, but I had quite a few comments. This one person in particular didn't like the episode because paranormal shouldn't have humor. And I'm like, why not? Yeah, did not like the episode one bit. I'm like, well, thank you for taking time to comment. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure.
Negative or positive, you're taking the time to tell me how you feel, and I appreciate that. But no, John and I just laughed so much, and some people didn't like that.
But what do you learn? The thing is, like, if it's that serious, I wouldn't do it. If you can't have a laugh. I mean, when the spirit says something funny, I laugh.
Yeah.
It's legit. It's a legit laugh. I mean, again, you're changing who you are to fit your perception of what something should be. Mm-hmm. Well, unless you take no pleasure in life and things like that, which some people don't. They're always very serious. Mm-hmm. But it reminds me of my friend Wes Forsyth, who used to do a show called Paranormal Filler. He does Scarefest television now for the Scarefest down there in Lexington. And I can't remember. I'm trying to remember if I was his co-host or not that night, but he had Dustin Perry on. And Wes and I know Dustin pretty well, and so Dustin there's two things Dustin really likes. Dustin likes pies, and Dustin likes goats.
Goats?
He loves goats. I swear. The guy loves goats. He likes goats. So it's like, he gets 20 minutes of the show they're talking about goats, because Wes lives on a farm. And so people are going nuts in the chat room. But, they were just both getting into about goats and trees and stuff like, because there's a calendar that says goats and trees, and there's goats in the trees. Oh, no. And, and so we talked about goats for 20 minutes, maybe 20, 15, but, only an hour show, people are going berserk. Like goat sports. I'm laughing my butt off. I think it's funny now.
When you mentioned pie, it reminded me of I did a public investigation with another team here, Chaps. Dave Gibb is the lead investigator, and this is before I did any investigating. And we were at an old museum, and the Champlain Trail Museum, and 98 people showed up. They didn't expect that many people.
Wow.
So they had to break us up into 4 teams, right? So we were in the old schoolhouse, and everybody is taking turns with all the different equipment, and everyone's asking the same questions. Do you know you're dead? What year is it? Right. Yada yada. They get to my friend's husband, and he asks, "Do you like pie?" The whole place goes quiet. Nobody could make eye contact because we would have all started laughing. And it's just like, oh my God. So then he gives the recorder to the next person next to him, and they're not even looking at him. They're just trying to take the recorder, and everybody's just kind of like... So every time I hear pie when we're talking about paranormal and all that, I always think of my friend's husband. Do you like pie?
Well, one time... Dustin Scarefest did an almost impromptu con up in Springfield, Illinois, which is a lot closer than Lexington to me. And I think they're trying to film something, to do for their events or whatever. But Dustin was up there, and the lady used to do the tour guide, Bobby Mackey's. He was a friend of ours, and quite nice, she passed away. So, it's a few of the people. So Julie and I drive up there, just because it's so close, and I had not really met Dustin yet, maybe in passing. So there's so few people here, he's standing at his table by himself. And so I'm like, geez, I kind of feel sorry for him. I'm going to go up and start talking to him. And, we just kind of hit it off, and Julie just loves him. And so, Dustin and I ran into each other a couple of times, and I mentioned to Julie one day that, he really likes pie. So we did an event at the Missouri State Penitentiary, which is a pretty cool place. And so, and it was one of Mark Tetlow's last the events he put on before he got out of the business. So we got tickets. I swore to God, I'd never pay big money for a ticket. It was like Dustin, it was supposed to be Amy Allen, John Zaffis. It ended up, Amy couldn't make it. She wasn't there, so they brought in Steve Gonsalves and Marianne Stewart. Marianne Stewart's really good. You don't hear much about her, but she was excellent. So anyway, Julie just said, we have to go. So I got a BOGO, so at least I didn't have to pay that much. So anyway, we were getting ready to go, and this woman made a pie, my wife. It was so big, you couldn't put it in a pie carrier.
Oh, wow.
Okay, like those Tupperware. No, you should get a cake. Tupperware cake carrier to put this pie in. I'd never seen a pie like that. Have you never made anything like that for me? Let's dust it.
Oh.
I love dust. So here we are, we're marching through Missouri State Pen with this pie. All these signs have absolutely positively no food. That did not faze that woman for 2 seconds. She bowled her way through, and we gave Dustin his pie, and got chat with him for a while, and Steve and John. And so during the when they're doing their Q&A and their introduction things, he gives her a shout out, Mrs. Coyote, yeah, thank you for the pie.
Mrs. Coyote.
That's what they call her. That's what they call her. So,
what kind of pie was it?
Huh?
What kind of pie was it?
It was an apple pie. Now his next, and I'm supposed to see him at Michigan Paracon, and so he's requested a pumpkin pie this time, so he'll get that.
Oh, love pumpkin pie. Has to be spicy though.
Oh yeah, she'll make it.
Yeah.
It's not like she's like a kitchen whiz or anything like that, but she does make a pretty decent pie. So at least I found that out now. When she made the pie for Dustin, damn, the Dan class likes pie too, so he gets a pie now.
Oh wow!
It's a freaking bakery here or something, people. But anyway.
But you don't get any pie.
Yeah, I know. So next morning, we had a great time. So next morning, we're sitting. A couple friends went with us, and we're sitting and having the breakfast that they had there at the hotel. Everybody stayed in the same hotel pretty much. And so John Zaffis came down, and we started shooting the bull, just talking with him and stuff. So we talked to him the night before. And I know Brian Kano, who had been on Haunted Collector. And I said, now there used to be There used to be a TV show on called Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Yes, I used to watch it.
With Marlon Perkins, right? Distinguished gray-haired fellow, much like John Zaffis. Well, now, Marlon Perkins had an assistant named Jim. Now, they'd ride around the Jeeps and stuff. Now, when they got to see something they wanted to see, they'd be like, there's a giant anaconda. Jim, go get him so our viewers can see it. So Jim would jump in the water and he'd wrestle the anaconda around, stuff like that. Well, you watch the Haunted Collector, Brian's always in the dirt. Some nasty basement. He's crawling through his crawl spaces and stuff like that. So I listened, next we're talking to John, I said, you ever see Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdoms? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was a great show. And so I'm like, that was Brian, it's Jim. And he goes, you're right, He goes, because Brian would always go do that stuff. He was like Jim, and he goes, you know what, though? The rest of them started to do it because he got more screen time than they did. So it's like his son Chris is burrowing because Brian got more screen time than they did.
That's awesome.
It's just so much fun.
Wow, we've been going for an hour and a half. Can you believe it?
You're great to talk to, and so
well, thank you.
I'll talk.
Yeah, so you're so easy to talk to.
Like I said, I can talk about, and we've gone a lot of different places too.
Yeah, I love it.
So, I am about, it's probably about time, but I just love doing this stuff, is because one, I have fun doing it. Okay, so if you listen to this and you think I'm being too funny, I said that's just me, and Kat and I. And
you gotta be
now,
you.
I want you to let me know when it's on, because I'm gonna go in the chat room
I
and see what does. I love doing that. So
I'll do that.
Yeah, let me know what's on. I will check it out. I like to do that. I like to hear what people have to say and things like that. And every once in a while, I drop in on people's shows and it's like one of those deals. Like, if I listen to all my friends' podcasts, that's all I do.
Yeah.
Everybody, with this what's that thing called? Stream something? Stream Beaver or something. I don't know. I forget what it is. That's the big new thing right now, And so everybody uses that. It's pretty easy to use. It's not as difficult as some of the other stuff used to be. Some of that stuff was insane. That's why whenever I did a show, I had to have somebody produce it, because I was like, I don't want stuff. I'd rather not do the show and have to produce the damn thing. But yeah. So like, and I get it, people, the pandemic, and people, I want to do something, so they have podcasts, and that's great. And just keep at it. And some night you have 6 listeners, and some nights you'll have 600 listeners. And I don't care how. I mean, some people, if there's not enough people listening to that show, I don't care.
No.
I just want to have fun If somebody hears it and likes it, then I'm cool with that. So yeah,
I don't care if I have one listener. To me, what I love is finding out where people are listening from. I mean, I have listeners all over the world, and like South Korea, that to me, if there's only one listener in South Korea or whatever, which that's usually the case, just one here, one there, that intrigues me. Like my little show, there's people someplace, around and I love that, and I really enjoy doing what I'm doing. So Jim Mallard told me, when you stop enjoying what you're doing, it's probably time to stop.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I
couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
but it's like if you're having fun, and if your heart tells you if what you do. Sometimes you need to make a switch. That that it's run its course, even though you love doing it. But you also get that. It's like with me when I switched different medicine traditions. It was like that. Not that I didn't love it anymore, but I had to make a change that was right for me and right for being respectful to that medicine. And so it's the right choice. It was it's difficult, but it ends up reaping rewards that you need for yourself and for others and helping others. Like in our tradition, we believe everybody has a gift from Spirit, from God. Our first job is to figure out what the heck that is through meditation, prayer, however you want to do it. And that could be anything. I mean, some people are very good mechanics. Some people, but the way you can tell if it's a gift from God is when you're doing it, you're just happy as you could be. It's what you want to do, and that's your gift. So you figured out what that is. What's the first thing you do with it? You go out and start helping other people with it? No. You heal yourself first. Let the medicine help you heal, and then once you're healed, then you can go out and help other people. I've been in social service, like I said before, for a long time, and I've seen people get in the business that were damaged, and thought by doing this that would make them better. And it wasn't. It would make them worse, and they'd get all kinds of freaked out or burn out and quit. And because they didn't go through their own healing. Yep. And you have to do that if you're going to work your medicine, no matter what your medicine is. What works the best that way.
Well, before we sign off, could you tell the listeners where you can be found and about the various shows that you're on? Because I know, there's one, you have a book. Totally forgot about the book. Let me hang on a second. I probably can't find a copy. Although the viewers can't see it.
There we go.
Sorry, listeners.
I'll do it like that.
Shock and Awe, the spiritual journey of Coyote Chris Sutton.
That's right. It's
nice.
It's taken from a 2-part interview I did. It's on Quasm. It used to be VidiSpace. What I did is I was sitting there getting ready to get the videos, getting ready to put on onto VidiSpace at the time. So I'm like, I've got all this text here. So I talked to my publisher, Mike Ricksecker, and who's been my friend for years, great guy. Because he's always told me, Chris, you get something put together, I'll publish it. I said, okay, but if it's not total trash, it's fine, it's fair. And so what I did is I called Mike and I said, I've got these tapes, where can I get them transcribed? If I have to sit there and type, it's going to take 2 years just to do that, at least. And so I learned how to type on a manual typewriter.
I did too.
Like typing class.
Yeah.
Like that, So I'm typing on a laptop.
Ding.
Bam, bam, bam. No, not so. On my phone, ching, 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 it's like a habit to get. So anyway, and Mike gives me a website. He goes, send it to this. They'll transcribe it for you. And so it comes back like half an hour later, all the text. But now, it's like if you do it with the machine doing it, it's like 80% accuracy, which is pretty good. But it's like $1 more a minute if you use if a human being does it. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is cool, but it doesn't. It's like I don't know. Those things you say. Like I'm doing right now. So you got to take all that crap out. And then, it doesn't make as much sense. If you watch the video, it makes perfect sense. But if you're not watching the video, you got to add more to it. And so that's what I did. I just added a whole ton of stuff to it. And it's an interview form. I mean, it says Davey's my interviewer, and he asks questions. It says Coyote Chris, and I answer the question. I modeled that after a book called Power of Myth. That was a transcription of Joseph Campbell's interviews with Bill Moyers back in the day. And Campbell was into mythology. He taught at Sarah Lawrence College, and guy was amazing. If you ever pick up on his books, you should. And so I got together, did all the editing about 7 times. My father's an English teacher, so I'm very picky. But I was happy with it, and soon off it got published. It got published in January, and you can get that on Amazon if you just type in Coyote Chris Sutton. It's Shock and Awe: The Spiritual Journey of Coyote Chris Sutton. I wrote it to show people that, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. And it's really, it just talks about how, basically all the things I've said in the interview. There's probably some more personal stuff in the book, but yeah, just about the journey and how it started and how it's going and where it could go, because it never ends. So yeah, that's out there. If you want a signed copy, if you go to my website, www.coyotechris.com, or probably better to email me, coyotechris1957@gmail.com. We can work something out. That cost you more if you get it from me. I can tell you that right now, but it'll be signed. And I was trying to write a nice note. So yeah, you can also at my website, www.coyotechris.com. You can find out where my events are at. This month I'm supposed to be in Brookwood Plantation in Virginia on the 26th, I think it is. That's the last Saturday of the month. We're doing a kids ghost hunt. So
Nice.
I'm with April Bussett, a buddy of mine. She's a psychic housewife from New Jersey, and so she's a hoot. We've worked together before. I'm with Bloomery Promotions, and so it's through that. That's one of my gigs through that corporation. And July 17th, it's that second weekend or third weekend in July, I'll be at the Cedar Rapids Psychic and Paranormal Expo in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I'll be there with Dan Class from the Hinsdale House, and we always have a good time together, so that's a good place to go. It doesn't cost much to get in. Then I've got the Haunted America here in Alton, Illinois. Troy Taylor, who's written several books about the paranormal, especially in the Midwest, and another good friend of mine, Richard Estep's going to be there. And Richard, he's been on some haunted shows in the States, and he's also a prolific writer. He wrote a good book about the Forest School that he interviewed me for, and so that's one of the other credits I've got in there. But so yeah, that's what's going on. August, I'm going to be at the Midwest Annual. This is the first one, but still annual. Midwest Annual Paranormal Festival. That's going to be in Marshalltown, Iowa. A lot of good people there. It's a big place. I mean, you got ghost hunts at night. All this acres. There's going to be a beer tent. I smelled this. Yeah, it's cool, but y'all be drinking. You're not coming with me on the ghost hunt.
More spirits.
Michelle LeBaron and I are doing one night a ghost hunt, and then I'm with Ron and Denise Pridemore who used to do tours at the Sally House. They're good friends of mine, so we're going to do the other Saturday night. So yeah, looking forward to that. And I'll be at the Michigan Paracon in August 24th. It's that last weekend of the month. I'm terrible on dates. But anyway, that's basically what I've got going on. Then that can change, things get added on. I'll probably be in the Cambry House in September. Then I've got a couple of gigs. I'll be at the Dead Con second week in October, and then which is in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I'll be at the Dark History and Horror Convention in Champaign, Illinois, the last weekend of October. Yeah, I think that sounds right. But you go to my website, you can figure it. It's all on there. Just because I don't know where I'm going doesn't mean that you shouldn't know. I wait till the day before and get my GPS out, unless I'm blind. So.
I am so envious of the United States and all the paracons you have, because Canada, we don't have them.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
No. I mean, we had one, John Moore, over in Ottawa. He had a paracon here about 3 years ago, and it was just a small one, but we thought, great, maybe the next year, we'll. I had some names that he could invite guests and everything, and then the COVID hit, and just So we were really excited to find out that he was going to start doing that, hopefully yearly, but it doesn't look like it will be now. But well, maybe he'll pick it up again. I don't know.
Who's the biggest Canadian paranormal person besides yourself?
Oh, thank you. Probably Michelle de Roche's pretty big. She's been on various television shows, and I always say my good friend Katie Turner, who's also lead investigator with the team that I'm with. She's also a TV personality. I would say those are the two. I can't really think of very many more right now at the top of my head. I know there's more. Yeah.
I was watching this one show it was on Discovery down here. No, on Travel Channel, called The Alaska Triangle. And a friend of mine, Mike Ricksefer, he was in that. And so I said, I'll check it out. I always watch stuff. Like, the reason I watch Paranormal Caught on Camera sometimes is because Brian's on it. Otherwise, I'm like, because I've seen all these clips before. But, it's sort of fun. Not as funny as Fright Night with the Ghost Brothers and Jack Osborne. But,
yeah.
But anyway, there was this Canadian medium. He's a younger looking guy. And I cannot think of his name. He looks like he's almost part First Nation.
Was he French by any chance? He's not French, is he? He's not from Quebec?
No, he wasn't French. He wasn't Quebec. No. No. If I think of the name, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
He's like that. He bills himself as the most dangerous mine in Canada. And so, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'd never seen the dude before, and so I saw him on that thing. Who's that? So, I don't know. If I get that guy's name, I'll pass.
Yeah, let me know. Okay. Probably if you give me the name, I'll probably be like, oh yeah, of course. But right now, no. Yeah, it's not as big in Canada as it is in the United States. Sadly, it's starting to get there, but
things can change.
Yep.
Pandemic knocked a lot of things down.
Oh, did it ever?
No, Canada's been really super strict, which is good. I mean, I can say that. We should have been more strict down here. There's a wonderful meme I saw right after all this stuff happened. And it's got a picture of Trudeau talking on the phone. He goes, hey, everything going down okay down there? And it's hot, and then they go down, it's Han Solo. When they do the prison break, Yeah, we're all fine here. Thanks. How are you?
I've seen that, yeah. Love it.
I said, that's perfect.
Oh, jeepers. So I think with the
Canadians offering support, they could be your buddy. I love Canadian sense of humor. It's similar to the British, and I think it's
yeah.
I love that dry sense of humor. I'm a big
I think.
fan.
Oh, so am I. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, and let's see. I'm still giving all my credit. On Facebook, I'm Christopher Sutton. That's my personal page, and my like page is Coyote Chris Sutton. On Twitter, I'm at Coyote Chris S, and on Instagram, I'm at Coyote Chris S. And so those are the places you can find me at.
Okay. I got
an IMDb page too. I'm Chris Sutton the 21st.
Cool.
That says Chris Sutton in parentheses XXI. And so that must be Chris Sutton in there. But it's got my picture on it. But yeah,
nice.
I got the TV credits and some doc credits, and so I thought, what the hell? Somebody I get Dan Class talking to me again. Yeah, dude, you got to do that. And he's like always big on. He's one of the best marketers I've ever seen, and so so yeah, I usually pay attention when he tells me something. So, but no, it's you put your face up there enough, and people say, "Oh, who's this guy?" And then maybe they'll try to find out. And you meet somebody cool. It happens a lot.
Yep. I'll also be adding links. I'll also be adding the links to the show notes, so people don't have to do lots of searching. They can just click on it, and
I like that.
Yeah.
Instant gratification.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
It was. I mean, I'm so glad we got to get together because we've known each other 4 or 5 years, at least 4 years.
Yeah.
So our last message exchange on on Twitter was like from 2017 or something.
I know. I saw that. I was like, and I've seen you on, and on social media, and but last message just like, really? Was it that long ago?
Yeah, it's like we were in Jim Mallard's chat room the other night. Hey, Kat, hey, Chris, how you doing today? And then cause somebody in the group goes, you gotta get Chris on over there. Oh, here we go. And so that was.
I think Jim was surprised that we knew each other already, because you're like, I know Kat, and he's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
See, I knew you were.
I know people too.
Well, I got my Coyote. People can't see I got my Arizona Coyotes jersey on. Coyote Chris and the Coyotes, but
you'll have to send me a picture with that on, and I'll put it on the YouTube video.
I'll do that. I will do that as soon as we get off. I will take a picture of me and my Coyote jersey. But,
hang tight. We'll just chat for a quick second afterwards. But thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Great being on. You're great to talk to. And
thank you.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Take care.
You too.
Well, we've made it to the end of another episode. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, take care of each other. And if you'd like to be on the show or have questions and comments, just drop me an email, paranormalheart13@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you.
Paranormal Heart would like to extend a special thank you to PurplePlanet.com for supplying the music for the show. The views and opinions expressed on Paranormal Heart are those of the host and participants.